Heyo! What's up, guys? So, thought I'd put together this little React style components responsive Navbar video. Seen more than a few really cool solutions already. This isn't novel, but I guess it is in the sense that some of the tutorials and stuff that I've already seen have yet to, at least that I've seen, haven't really embodied React in terms of JSX components and with the use of style components also. And those two things, they kind of mesh together so well. I think it's a really good demo to show off style components, show some React best practices, attempt to, and look, so here's the deal. When I was first learning React, after I got my head around it, I guess, not when I was first learning, but once I become comfortable with it, I want to start making some stuff, right? But you have to know CSS, or it looks like you're just making a crappy web page and there's no, pizzazz. So I immediately jumped to the CSS third-party library bandwagon and kind of went through the gambit there, tried more than a few, and look, a lot of them are really cool. All of them. They all have their strengths and weaknesses, and you can get some stuff up and going, really quick. But after messing with Materialize, Material UI, Bulma, that was the one that I liked the most. If I had to pick personally, I really enjoyed Bulma. Bootstrap, I just got to the point where I was like, why am I learning all these APIs? Why don't I just learn CSS? And that kind of really solidified once I stumbled upon style components. And look, there's a whole, you can go down a whole rabbit hole with people that are for and against having the CSS outside of CSS files, basically, within your JSX components themselves. And I certainly wasn't a huge fan of the inline or the JSON-based CSS, where it was kind of like CSS, but it wasn't. But style components isn't like that. If you're not familiar at all with style components, you have all the power of CSS, true CSS, media queries, and all that stuff right there, and you don't have to kind of change the names of everything, which was annoying, especially with your first learning CSS, and then you have to change the names of everything so it's a proper JSON. Anyway, so that's what this is all about. I'm just hoping this is a cool demo that, again, really shows off and displays a proper implementation of these various things together. If you're not familiar with React or CSS, if you're not familiar with both of them, so I guess that would be an and, this probably isn't for you. Or I don't want to scare anyone away. It'll be over your head for sure. You definitely need to, get your React and CSS basics down. I'm going to try to leave a bunch of really pertinent links, though, in the description. And look, they're not just BS. It's not like the first thing I Googled. I've read, at this point, more than a few articles and tutorials on these concepts. Doesn't make me a pro, not by any stretch. But I've kind of heard it from different angles, and a lot of these links, all of them, are kind of like either that light bulb article that the author really made it make sense to me, at least, or it's like a very thorough but condensed resource that's just a really great reference that I go back to time and time again, or with some regularity at least. So I'm going to add all those. I'm going to kind of have them in chronological order in the order that I come upon them in the build. So hopefully you'll be able to use those. This is really kind of aimed at the people, at you guys out there that kind of know your React, kind of know your CSS, and you're really you're starting to intertwine things. You're not building just the basic to-do app anymore, right? You get how it works. You want to make something that looks kind of cool. You want to add your own flair to it. You want to understand things to a granular enough level that you can make it exactly how you want it, right? You don't have to have someone else's solution. So if you like that modularity or that specificity, and you just want to maybe peel back the layer and get, you know, to the behind the scenes, that's just kind of where I ended up. The desire that I had to again, to not have to lean on at least the CSS libraries. And again, the nature of style components and the way it just intertwines with React so well. It just really fits in the React paradigm very, very well. So hopefully this will be a useful demo. And if I hadn't mentioned already, all you guys out there who are React and CSS pros, if you see me doing something just idiotic, which I'm not above, please comment. Let me know. You know, I'm trying to get better too here. You know, I love this stuff. I really do. And I like doing it well. So that's what I'm trying to do here. I want to do it well. So if you see me making some silly mistake, if it's not like a personal preference thing, but you see me like actually implementing bad practice, then, you know, please comment. Please let me know. I'd really appreciate it. All right, guys. Alrighty, guys. All that being said, let's jump into some code. So we're going to do npx create React app responsive Navbar. Very original name, I know. There's some of my pertinent versions. Node is LTS, at least at the time of recording. I use Yarn, so there are those. Responsive Navbar. Let's open that up with VS Code. Why did it open me up right here? That's strange. Okay. Yarn start. Make sure this is running. Seems to be. Yes, yes. That was quick. While I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and set up a quick reset. Padding 0. Just to have that knocked out. Hope you don't mind the music going in the background. I kind of like to keep a little something playing. Shouldn't be able to hear it shouldn't be too loud. So, what are we going to do? I think this layout is going to be a bit of overkill, but just for good practice. This is kind of normally how I would do it if I had a bunch of other stuff I was going to put in here too. So I have components folder, like a navigation folder, and in here we're going to throw a few files. We're going to do this navbar. We're going to also do a desktop navbar, and then a mobile navbar. So navbar itself is going to kind of orchestrate over these two guys. Navbar is going to hold state. It's going to have a few functions in it that it's going to pass via props down to our desktop nav and mobile nav. These are just going to be functional components. So this will be our only stateful component right here. So React, let's see. No, I think this is what I want. There we go. If you have not seen those little snippets, there's a few packages that you can use in VS Code. Here are all of them that I'm using right now. I just use this guy. So I like all these. There are those if you're interested. Not that. We're also going to do a stateless component. I'm going to throw this in there. Yeah, I don't like the semicolons. I'm one of those guys. Whoops. I'm going to throw that in there. Same thing here. Again. Just for a sanity check here in a second. That. We're going to take both these. We're going to import them into Navbar. Import desktop. And let's just throw those down here real quick.
have that set up. I think let's go ahead and now pull Navbar itself into app.js. We don't need any of this anymore. We won't need this or this. Import Navbar from components, navigation, Navbar. And let's just throw that down here. Let's just delete these. There's no point in keeping them. Okay, that looks fine. That contains Navbar, which contains both these guys. Does that look okay? Beautiful. We're done. Alright. Let me go ahead and add our only packages we're going to be using. Okay. And let's go ahead and start. I think what we're going to do is we're just going to build out desktop Navbar, mobile Navbar, get an idea of what they're going to look like when they're rendered statically, and then we're going to go in and add all of our functionality, our JS related functionality. So let's come right in here to desktop Navbar. We're going to be using style components, which I will never spell right. Styled from style components const my desktop navbar equals, I'm just going to go with a style nav flex flow. We want this to be row, right? This is our desktop, so it's going to be our horizontal, no wrap. Justified content, we're going to space. Why wouldn't you evenly and align items? We will center that. Let's go ahead and throw a background color here, just for now, just for some contrast. White, height, we're gonna do 15 VH. The viewport height percentage. Don't need to do a width, I don't think. Is that okay for now? I think that's going to be alright. Let's go ahead and throw like a logo in here, or a placeholder for what would be a logo. Our excuse me, our unordered list, I think I'm going to call this nav links to 3 list items to some React links. We'll call this just link, class name of just link. Link, yeah, that makes sense. And I guess I'll go ahead, fill these out. You may be able to hear my Chewini tap dancing in the background. Bender. What is this going to be about? And contact. About contact. I'm going to also go ahead and throw a button down here. We'll be using that to open and close our mobile nav. That's just a placeholder for now. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, so what we have now is we have these links, which are in Navbar, which are in desktop Navbar, which is in Navbar, which is in app.js. So what I need to do here is import browser router from React router DOM. Let's throw this around our Navbar. Link is not defined. Oh, and here I need to import it here. Link, not browser router. Link from React router DOM. Now, geez, it looks terrible. Okay, let's go ahead and hit our logo. we'll do font size of 7 VH. Font weight bold. Where am I going? There we go. Text shadow. I'm just gonna do like 3 blur, and we'll just go with black for now. There we go. We'll go ahead and hit our nav links. We need to lay these out in a similar manner, so we'll just copy this. Nav links. Is it list style? I think we want none. That should get rid of our bullet points. It did. Width, we'll do like 35 VW. There we go. Now let's go ahead and hit our links themselves. And what do we want to do? We'll do a color, just for now, we'll stick with white here. Font size 2.5 VH, and text decoration. I should get rid of our underline. There we go. Is that those working? Those are working. Got a button here. Okay, we're getting somewhere. I may go ahead. We're not gonna be using this button for a little bit, but I might go ahead and style it out just because we're here. We'll call that mobile nav button. It's gonna be a style button. Background will be transparent. I don't want a border around it. None. I think I'm gonna go back up here and add a height of like 6 VH width. I'm also gonna do V8 because I want it to be symmetrical. I don't want to do the width because then it won't be, well, symmetrical. Let's wrap this here. Button, we can't really tell how much of that. Yeah, hit. We'll fix that. You know what? I'll just go ahead and do the whole thing. New folder. I'm going to call it images. CD desktop. Demo files. We're going to copy background and mobile nav icon to projects, JavaScript, local, responsive, source, images. Did that get in there? It did. So let's import, what am I going to call it? Mobile nav icon from images, mobile nav icon SVG. Yes. Okay, back down here. Image. That there. Alt. Some cheeky reference that no one will get. You can't handle a moist towelette. Bonus points to the people who know what show that's from without Googling it. Alright. No errors. Why isn't it? Okay. I think we need to work on. So I downloaded this SVG from right here. I got the SVG version. It's not white. That's okay. We can fix that. It's not scaling either. I think I'm almost certain it's because those are defined. You don't really want to define that if you want it to scale. You just want the ratio to be defined. So path with SVGs, it's fill. That's how you add a color to it, and then that's white. There we go. And did you notice how slowly that was saving? I think we're running to a small issue. I know how to fix this. So that. So that looks okay. Let's get rid of it for now though, just so we know. Yeah. Alright, because we don't really want that nav. We're gonna eventually hide that nav button. As you get down here, around the mobile tablet, the generic mobile tablet dimensions, we're gonna hide these and display that button. And otherwise, the inverse, right? Okay, so we have this kind of built out. It looks pretty bland. But let's go ahead and, I think I'm gonna go ahead and add a Google font here too. I've been liking this. I think this is kind of cute. It reminds me of Cartoon Network. So that, where do I need to put that? I think it's up here, index. Actually, it tells you. Head of your HTML document. We are in head right here after the title. We'll throw it here just for, why? Oh no. Okay. Before I go any farther, I gotta fix this. I've had issues with, see how slowly that's saving too? Issues with this guy. As useful as it is, sometimes it messes up like IntelliJ and just my editor in general. So yeah, now tab's working again. I mean, what is that? So let's add a little note in here. Google font. That. Let's take font family. Let's put him here in there. Font family, recurse. Let's see, font family, do. Okay. Did I save that? Save that. Font family. Oh, wait. Wait, do I want that there? I do not. That's not where I want that. I want it there. No. Yes. Why is it not? Oh, I know. After I reset that editor, it disconnects from the dev server. There we go. Alright, that looks okay, but we need to fix this too. Get rid of that. Where do I need to go? Here. And let's get rid of that bold. That's too bold. See what it looks like without anything. There we go, that looks better. Yeah. Okay. So we got that. Let's start working on mobile nav. So it's going to, it's going to have the same links in it. These guys right here. So to kind of embody proper React etiquette, we're going to take this. Actually, I'm not going to copy it yet. I'm going to copy all of this since I've disabled my snippets. I'm going to create a file called navlinks. Place this with navlinks, everything in it. Now I'm going to take all of these cut those, put them here. I don't want to import link any longer. I want to import nav links. And down here, where that once was, I now want nav links. Nice and modular. Link is not defined. I need to come here and import link again from React Router DOM. Now, so let's do that again. Import, well, go ahead and get style too from style components. And also import nav links from nav links. That's really all I need in here this time. I'm not going to have a logo and everything in the mobile nav links. I'm only going to have, or in the mobile navbar, I'm only going to have the nav links. So we'll do const my mobile navbar equals style nav. I don't need to define flex on the entire mobile nav this time. Again, because I only have the nav links, right? Flexbox only addresses the direct children, so, or the direct descendants / children. So I'll need to just go ahead and jump to the nav links, because that's all it has, the nav links and the link in it. So we're going to be, this is going to be similar to that. We're going to be changing some stuff. This is going to be column, space evenly. Yeah, we'll stick with that. Center, the width. We don't need a width here, but we can go ahead and say height here. 60 ph. We still want the list style of none. Let's see, I keep trying to do that. I don't want that. What I do want is a width here for the total, for the entire my mobile navbar itself. 50 VW. Yes. Background, we'll do like green just for contrast. Color, I don't need to define a color here. I already have it down here. All this looks the same. Yeah, I think that's what we're going after. Oh yeah. It looks like Cartoon Network too. I mean, this is ridiculous, right? So, that's alright. What I want to do is get this over here. We're going to change these colors. I mean, it's very Christmas themed. I love Christmas, don't get me wrong. But yeah, I'm going to change these up. But before I do that, before I start messing with that, we need to get this layout finished. So, I'm going to go into Navbar. Import style from style components. My navbar equals. I'm just going to do a div here. I don't really need to do a nav because this really isn't the nav. Ironically, right? The navbar is the only thing that's not the navbar. It just contains two other navs. So we're going to do display flex flow column no wrap, justify content. We'll do flex start. We want everything to push up to the top, right? And we're gonna go down into one of its direct children, which is mobile nav, and here we're going to do align self flex end. This is, you know, it's in column, right? So align self is now the horizontal layout. So the flex in would be to the right. Boom. That's what we want. Right there. Right there. Let's Also, go ahead and I'm kind of getting sick of just looking at these colors. Let's go ahead and throw our background in. Maybe I should have just done all this at the same time, but code margin. What do I want? What do I want? Oh, I think yes. HTML background. Ooh, a URL. Images. Whoops. Background. Let's see. No repeat. Center. Fixed. And then we'll do a background size of cover. Let's hide that just for now. There we go. All right. Let's use style components to go ahead and implement a theme. I guess I'll leave that. I guess I'll leave all this. Where are we gonna go? We're going to go here. Before I do that, new file, we'll call it theme.js. Export const theme. We're just going to do a JSON here. And for this first one, we're just going to call it primary. Now, if you've not seen this website, this guy. This is a super useful website. Just makes a bunch of kind of cool, neat colors for you. You can lock stuff that you, if you click the button correctly, you can lock stuff that that catches your eye. You just press space, it starts generating other stuff for you. You come in here and change the shading on it, adjust all kinds of stuff. It's just a super useful website. I like it a lot. So, what is our, looks like this, kind of torn between this teal and this blue. I think I'm going to go with this teal. Let's just see what this looks like. We're going to save that. I'm going to go back here and index. And we're going to import our theme provider from style components. And then we're also going to import our theme itself we just created from there. We're going to pass the theme we just created down through all of our style components, which are going to act as theme consumers. It's just a context. Theme provider. Pop him back up in here. This prop has to be named theme, if I'm not mistaken. And we're going to pass it our theme, conveniently enough. Here, so now all of our style components have access to that theme prop. So we can go like into background here. Instead of doing red, we can define this function, and we have props theme primary background. Wait. Oh, there we go. There we go. I'm still not convinced with that color, but just for now, they're there. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that. I'm gonna go back to this. Let's try this. I kind of like this one too, honestly. I'm gonna try this. Theme Yeah. I do like that, but let's get real. This just matches. It just matches better. There's just no getting around it, I don't believe. Yeah, it just kind of goes with the flow a little bit more there. Before we go too much farther, let's go also into here. Let's give this guy height, desktop. A box shadow. I always have to mess around with these. I think I just did 0, 10 pixels, 5 pixels of blur, and just so that I can see it well. Let's go with red. Yeah, that's what I want there, I'm pretty sure. Let's try to do that here also. Oh, that's this needs to be, I think this needs to be -10. Yeah, +10 would have been to the right, -10 to the left. Okay. I don't like that. I don't know what that's about. Doesn't do that when I just change the dimensions. Huh. It goes away with pixel 2. What about... Okay, I don't know if that's just an artifact or... But... let's make our shadow based off this color. I kind of like doing that. We're going to go back here into theme. We're going to give it our accent, that color we just defined, and then here let's replace this with accent, and let's replace this with accent. How's that look? Let's go back up here. Yeah, that looks all right. I kind of feel like everything needs to go down a notch, but I'm just gonna leave it, or go lighter, just a bit lighter. Oh, it's gonna drive me crazy if I don't do it. All right, so shades. We're here. I want to do this one more like this for our accent. Theme. Yeah, not quite so dark. And then for the primary, it's 3A74. Where was that? Whoops. 3A74. So let's go like here. Okay. I think I can live with this now. Oh, let's also change this logo's text shadow. Let's get rid of this. That's here. Let's copy this again. Here. And then link logo text shadow right here. Yeah. All right, now we're all matching everywhere. What's next? What is next? I guess let's go ahead and get the button back involved. Let's have him hide whenever we get down here at a tablet-like breaking point, or tablet-esque breaking point. Wrong way. So desktop navbar, I think we need to go ahead, wait. We need to stop hiding this first off. Stop hiding it. But we are going to do display none, and we'll do a media query. Max width of 768 pixels. Display block. That works. hidden at like 760. Okay, then it shows itself. So we're going to do the opposite with these guys, right? Here, just for the nav links, throw our media query at the end, display none. Boop. That's what we want. That's what we want. Okay. So what do I need to do now? Let's get mobile nav off the screen. So this is where it's obviously going to be whenever we engage it, right, with this button. But when we don't want to see it, where's it going to be? We want to have it over here off to the right. So we're going to do, you know, we kind of want to be able to flip back and forth between those two, right? So we're going to have that dependent on state. But before I actually hook it up with state, let's just take a look at it. Let's go here. It's going to be the whole thing. Okay, so I need to just do a transition transform. And eventually, whenever we have it hooked up, it's only going to take a second to do it. And then the transform is just going to be your standard translate X. Just to see what it looks like, 100%. Should move the whole thing off the screen. It does, but we still have our shadow. So what we really need here is calc 100%. You always do that to me. Plus, I think we just need 15 pixels. We just need 10 of our shadow and 5 pixels of blur. So yeah, that gets rid of the whole thing. Right there it is. Okay. Now, we actually want this dependent on a variable we keep in state. We're going to define our state here. We're going to call it display mobile navbar. We're going to first set it to false. And then we're going to pass this down as a prop. To mobile navbar. So mobile navbar now has that coming in as a prop, right? And we're going to do that again, a little bit of prop drilling here, but not too much. No, not props. What are you doing? Props dot display mobile navbar. Now we've passed this prop into our style component. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. So what we can do is set this equal to a conditional value based off this variable. So what I'm going to do here is, much like I did right there, we're going to define, let me give myself some space, I don't want to retype that. Define a function, props dot display mobile navbar. It's going to be a ternary. True or false. Calc 1. Just that. That's all I want. Okay. Display mobile navbar. Is that true? If that's true, it needs to be 0%. I don't want it translated off at all. If that's false, display mobile navbar, I don't want to see it. I want it to be offset by that calculation we just made, right? Let's see if that resulted in any error. Props is not defined because I didn't actually define the function because I'm a genius. Now, so we have it set to false, so it should be gone. If this is truly wired up correctly, set this to true, should be back, boom. Now, let's go ahead and hook this button up so that it's what controls state, which is what controls whether this is being displayed or not, right? So let's do that. Let's do a function here called toggle mobile navbar. I'm going to do a functional set state. Return display mobile navbar is going to be set equal to the opposite of the previous state's value for display mobile navbar. You know, we probably never really run into many scenarios where we'd be having a conflict because this is a pretty simple app. But why not employ best practices here? You know, you would really want to do it with the function that way. You know, because set state is async, right? So we want to make sure we're getting a reference to the true previous state and changing that. So that's that. We're going to send that down here to our desktop. Let's see, our desktop navbar, so that we can give it to that button. Desktop navbar now has down here. It has that function coming in on props. So we go to this button. We're going to do an on click here, and we're going to set it equal to props dot. What did I? Yay! I had it saved. Does that work? Yes, that works. We have a little issue here. You can still get over here. We don't want you to be able to get there. So here in our navbar, overflow X should be hidden. Oh, I cut off. We can't get over there. But that also cuts off our shadow. I think I remember how you fix that. We need to give mobile navbar a little margin. Just the bottom, guys. Again, just like that calculation we made for the offsets, 10 pixels of shadow, 5 pixels of blur. I know I have this stuff spaced out oddly. I kind of have a pattern that I follow. So if it annoys you, I apologize if that worked. That does seem to work. This is working. You cannot get over there. Okay. So that's working. That's working. What else? Can't get over there. I think we do have ourselves a scenario here, an issue. So let's say we're in phone mode. We have this open, and now we rotate. Uh-oh. I mean, we're stuck, right? Like, now we're gonna have to go back, close it. You know, what if you're like rotating, you're gonna watch a video or something, you accidentally hit the nav button, and you open up, and now you have basically two sets of links. You don't want that, right? Of course. So we need to check for that and prevent it. How are we going to do that? It's a good question. I think we need to come here. I know, I'm not going to pretend like I haven't done this before, but I know we need to come here. This is at least one way to do this. And we're going to have a function here. I'm going to call it check and auto hide mobile navbar. It's a bit verbose, that's true, but I prefer that over ambiguity. Check and auto hide mobile navbar. What's it going to do? We're going to do if if, first off, the mobile navbar has to be open. If this dot state dot display, and, okay, I need to get const, we're going to call it screen width equals window dot inner width. And the screen width, so we rotate and now we're above 768. Do I need to do pixels? No, I think that defaults to pixels. Right? If the mobile navbar is being displayed, like this is true, and now the screen width has become greater than 768, so our button is no longer displaying, then we need to auto close our navbar. Set state display mobile navbar false. We're going to come here and in component did mount, we're going to add an event listener which can listen to resize events, and every time a resize occurs it's going to call this guy, right? And then we also need to clean up after ourselves. Component will unmount, I think is what we want here. Let's remove event listener, resize this dot check. That's open. What happens? Ayo. That's what we're wanting. Okay. What else? I think we have another issue. We still have a few. Nav links. Okay. That's an issue. We don't want to be able to tab out here to these guys. Yep, you know, this is mobile, so you don't really want to be, no one's going to be using a keyboard to get here. So you want to disable tabbing. You obviously don't want to disable all your tabbing because some people need to be able to tab to get around a website. You know, if they can't use a mouse or something. Like this. We're gonna pretty this up too. We don't want to tab around that crappy border. But we need to prevent this. So I think what we're gonna do is go to mobile, and to the nav links we're gonna pass just a boolean is mobile link. We'll say true because it is a mobile link, and here now mobile links gets props. We'll do const, we'll call it temp. I think it's tab, or I'm going to call it tab index. If props dot is mobile link, this needs to be, I think it needs to be a let because it's conditional. We're going to set it to -1. Come down here, go to all these guys. We'll do tab index equals temp tab index. So if it is a mobile link, then you don't want to be able to tab to it. Otherwise you do. This, you can still tab to those, and now I'm pressing tab. You cannot get over there. Does this fix our other issue? It should. Although it seems like, we cannot tab over there. We can still tab to this. Cannot tab. Tabbing over there does not open up that, does not scroll us over there to that hidden mobile navbar. Okay, we got that knocked out. Let's pretty up this tabbing. We want to be able to, I don't really like that, right? It's okay, but that's the default. That's not fun. Links. I think I need to make this. Can I just target these directly? This I'm not 100% sure about. Here, link. Let me try this real quick. Flex, flow, column, no wrap, justify content, center, align items, center. Also link, height. I want this to be the same height, basically. Or yes, I want it to be the same height as the navbar. Nav links. Do I need to make the nav links also that height? Not the nav links, but first off, I don't need to do any of this because this is not the right spot. I don't need to worry about this here. This needs to be here. Link. Okay, and then focus, we're going to do background. We're just going to add a little opacity to the background. 0, 0, 0, 0.1. And let's throw a little padding here. We don't really want any top or bottom padding, but maybe like let me make sure I'm hitting the right thing. Let's just go for rem to begin with. There we go. Let's get rid of focus, background, outline, none. Font size. And then let's just give it a border radius of like, just take the edge off, just like maybe like 10 pixels or something. There we go. That way you still see what's going on, but it's not, super loud. Now, some of you might be wondering, because it took me a little bit to figure this out the first time, and I'm still not super clear on this, why I had to add that flex info to the link. This is supposed to be, and it is this, right? So why am I adding parent orientation values to what should be, it's almost like this is acting as the parent and the child. What I'm thinking is React Router, this is it does resolve to an A tag, but it's also like a higher order component or something above the A tag, so it's acting as the parent too. So whenever you apply Flexbox properties to link, it applies to the A tag as if they are children of link. So that took me some messing around because I was like doing it into the list item and it didn't fix it there. That's where you would think, right? You think you do list item. You know, you'd think you'd define that stuff on list item. I guess I'll show it. I didn't want to take the extra time, but just for thoroughness, link here, like we could go, if we just did targeted the list items themselves, that's kind of where, again, where you think all this information should be. Right? But it doesn't target properly. And that would make sense if really this is kind of 2 levels deeper. It's a grandchild. It doesn't seem that way because of the elements in the DOM tree or whatever, but and I could be wrong about this, but I feel like because the A tag is essentially kind of wrapped in this React router link component, it's kind of acting as a parent behind the scenes. So you apply those styles, the styles to the link itself, which then impacts our final A tag. So let's take that back to how it was. So now all this is working. Cool, cool, cool. Boop, boop, boop. All that's working too. All right. Back up here. Let's do some fun stuff now. Let's do a little bit of fun stuff here in our mobile. I think what I'm gonna do. No, not our mobile. In our desktop. Do another transition, another transform specifically. We're gonna have this. We want this to take a second also because I want it to correlate with the sliding out of the nav. And then this transform, I'm gonna do a rotate. Just real quick, make sure everything's working. So now our arrow should be pointing to the right, correct? And it is. So, in much the same way we had display mobile navbar passed as a prop to mobile navbar, we're going to do it again to our desktop navbar. Now, desktop navbar has it. It's going to pass that on to. I never know whether I should do this stuff first, or I haven't made up my mind yet. But I guess I'll do this. Now it's not from state. Now it's off of our props that have been passed in here. But now we have props here. We'll go ahead, copy that, rotate. What are we going to do here? This, props, another ternary. Is display mobile navbar, that's true. So we want our arrow to the right. So 180 degrees. Or 0 degrees. Let's see. Heyo. Another thing. Here, let's go ahead and take that outline. Done. Ease in and out. I think I'm gonna go back to my skateboarder days here. We're gonna do 540. Woo! Alright, that's cute. Okay, so what about doing a little something under here? I'm liking using the before and after tags for stuff like this now. It's just fun. So let's go up into here. I think, yeah, link, we have our focus. Let's do our after content. We don't really want any content. Height, just like 2 pixels. Width, for now, well, I'm gonna do 2, make sure it shows up properly. Is it, I think it's background. I'll do white so we can definitely see it. Is this, oh, I think I need to do display block. This makes it a vertical. There we go. We see our Okay. Is it after hover or is it hover after? Width 100%. Hover after. Here we go. Width. We want to start off with 0. I think I want this more like a bit wider. Yeah. Let's do another transition. This is going to be on our width. I'll start with 1 second. Ease in and out. I think I just do transform here of width and then width 125. Well, do I want to? I think that's just taking too long, really. Yeah, I'm liking that. All right. Okay. That's looking, I mean, I think that's all I got for you guys. That's all I got for you. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Maybe you saw something you haven't seen yet. A tactic you might want to use at some point. But that's it, guys. Appreciate you sticking with me through that. That was fun. And I'll catch you next time. Peace.
I'm unique.